89 State Street in Saginaw, or go online to westsidedecoratingcenter.com. Art is off today. He'll be back tomorrow. No illness or anything like that. He's actually receiving an award at the Great Lakes Bay Regional Chamber Summit, the Individual Achievement Award, later this morning. So a big congratulations to Art, and I'm sure he'll have some stuff to talk about when he comes back tomorrow. In the meantime, we'll keep on keeping on, and we are joined now by Aiden Frosch. He is the Assistant Esports Director at Northwood University. Aiden, welcome back.
Hi, Jonathan. Really great to be back and really excited to be here this morning.
Absolutely. So there's a big event coming up next month. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. But I feel like every time we have you on, we kind of have to define esports a little bit for our listeners here. So when we talk about Assistant Esports Director, what are esports and why is Northwood so good at them?
Yeah, so esports is basically competitive video games. It's similar to sports where basically two teams of people gather and kind of do like organized play for, rankings, or in most cases, like where we're at now, like you could do this for money, right? People have professional careers as professional esports athletes and they make money off of this. So then the reason why Northwood is so good at this is because just throughout the year since about 2019, we've really worked on finding some of the best talent in the world. And now we're basically like the school. We like to flaunt ourselves as one of collegiate esports' first ever dynasties from about a little stint in like 2021 to like 2023. We were on a really big hot streak and we just kind of won everything. We're one of the only if not the only school in the U.S. to have 2 world championships in collegiate esports events. So we're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, right here in Midland of all places.
I know, right?
No, that's crazy, and it's something that you've got players that are looking at going pro that are like, this is where I want to go to develop a little bit more.
Yeah,
get that educational component and move forward in that career. You talked about money. People can make a living doing this.
Oh yeah.
What's the money?
What's the money? It kind of depends on the game and what what the tournament is and what's being competed. But like I've seen a couple way back when salaries go up into 6 figures for some people. There's over like the summer we have the Esports World Cup, which this year was actually hosted in Paris, France.
Nice.
That always has like a couple $1 million prize pool across all these games.
Is that something that Northwood is part of, or is that at a different level?
It's at a different level.
Okay.
We could technically qualify it, but what makes it hard for us, because on the topic of like pro players, with how just kind of esports has evolved, a couple of our game titles, we actually do have active professional players since they are kind of allowed to compete in collegiate. Our Overwatch team, our Rocket League, and our Rocket League team are 2 games that we have that have active professional players. So we've had actually some of our Northwood Overwatch players, while on a professional team, actually go to the Esports World Cup in Saudi Arabia 2 years ago and get to be on this massive world stage. Similar thing, one of our newest Rocket League players, who's actually from Brazil, qualified for the Rocket League World Championship.
Oh, awesome. That's sweet. So, and we talk about this whenever you're in, so we don't need to like deep dive into it, but there's no like NCAA for esports, and it's all very kind of decentralized and game dependent, and some game developers run their tournaments while others it's just kind of independent organizations and things like that. It's not all it's not as organized as people might imagine for sports.
Oh no, yeah. It is not super organized. It's one of the most like more frustrating things, but it is kind of like unique, and we've kind of like learned how to work around it, right? Everything that like the creator of the game says, right? So for Overwatch, we have Blizzard Entertainment. Whatever they decide for like their standards of competition, and if they have a collegiate ran league, that is basically law. So whatever they take, all the other factions and independent groups that are trying to run their own events and try to become the NCAA, it's like, well, these people make the game we're trying to have tournaments in. They're kind of law.
Yeah. So we want them to eventually buy into our system, our organized system, so we should play by their rules right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Is that kind of where the world of esports is at right now? Like, to me, I think of like wrestling where in the decades past there were tons of different organizations, some of them geographically located, things like that. Now, like entertainment wrestling anyway, is WWE took it all over. Are we in that kind of Wild West place? Is there a chance that one tournament organizer or one entertainment company takes over all of it?
We're kind of like hitting almost like a merger point or like a healthy middle ground. So from like a professional side, I don't think there'll ever be a complete merger, just because, right, different people make different games. They obviously don't want to combine resources.
Yeah.
Right. I hate to see it. People like their money, so they're going to want to do whatever they can to keep their money. But with like the Esports World Cup, right, that is an event that has around like 20 different game titles. That's why the prize pool's so big, right? Because it's like a $2 million prize pool, but it's across 20 different games. And that's probably the closest thing that we have to a general umbrella, like, this is just an esports tournament. Not just, not just Overwatch, Rocket League, Valorant, League of Legends, whatever. Like, this is just esports.
Yeah.
And it runs for basically like early July to early August, for like a whole month and a half almost.
Kind of World Cup. Like soccer World Cup almost
World Cup.
In that way.
That's also something else. We've been recently kind of seeing a resurgence of like World Cup style competitions. It was supposed to happen this year, but it did get postponed. The Esports World Cup group, which is interesting because the names are a little backwards, created the Esports Nations Cup, where people get to actually represent their country in their respective games and play in it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
The naming is a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're now working on like an actual World Cup style. You qualify and represent your team. And competitive Overwatch, that's also been something that's been around for a while. It's been kind of in and out, like every couple years we'll do it. So there's also kind of other alternative like World Cup style opportunities where people that are relatively unknown get to play on the world stage for the first time and kind of get recognized.
So does this World Cup organization, are they kind of the emerging leaders of bringing some of these different games together into one tournament?
Yeah, the Esports World Cup, or EWC, people are definitely kind of the people trying to spearhead that.
Okay, that's interesting. Because I know for individual games, they have, like, for League of Legends, that's the one competitive esport that I followed for a while. And they've got leagues around the world, and then whoever wins those different championships would go and compete on the world stage. But that's not based on nationality of player. That's based on where they're playing geographically and what league they're in. But no, that's very interesting. So when we're talking about these things, you're throwing out game titles that maybe most of our listeners maybe have no idea what it is.
Yeah.
What are some of the top esports out there right now? What are, in terms of whether it's viewership or competitive scene, what are people playing?
The biggest one overall is League of Legends. League of Legends, to viewers at home, is a very complicated game to explain, but if you want to get an idea of scope and popularity, whenever the grand finals, world finals of this competition, right? So as Jonathan was talking before, you have little competitions of, we have the American region and the European region. They all play, and then the best teams kind of come together at the end to see who's the best of the best. Mm-hmm. Whenever that's going on, that viewership rivals the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So a whole lot of people around the world are watching this whenever it's going on. Even people that don't play the game anymore will come in just to watch this because it's the Super Bowl of esports, basically. Other popular games are probably Valorant, Rocket League, and if I had to say me personally, Overwatch, but also Marvel Rivals has been a very big kind of dark horse coming into stuff as well, and Counter-Strike 2.
These are all competitive games with one team against another team.
Yes.
This isn't your cooperative game that you would play in the basement with on split screen with your friends or anything like that. But when we're talking about these competitions, these aren't just people. Some of them might be your team at Northwood is there in the lab playing against someone located somewhere else. But a lot of these are you're traveling to this place and they're playing on a stage next to each other. It's these two teams visibly in front of an audience playing these games against each other.
Oh, yeah. LAN environment is...
Hold on.
Yeah. LAN.
Local area network.
Yep, local area network.
It reduces the delay from internet. Okay, continue.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, that kind of environment is just completely different, and it's something that even with esports, right? It's something you have to like almost get learned and used to, right? Playing online is completely different than playing with a crowd, right? Even at the end of the day, you're still looking at a screen and playing a video game, but just like the stage presence, the fact that there's people watching you in person, like, you know, thousands of people watching you in person, and in some cases, because I've been on a couple of like these stages before, right? You have all this production going on, and you have cameras in your face while you're trying to play. You hear like the stage booming and rocking as the announcers and stuff blare. Like, it's a completely just like different environment, and also like those days are long. For some of the tournaments that we do where we have our in-person events, like I operate on a schedule of kind of first person in, or get there when the first team's there and get there when the last team leaves, since many esports events for college are pretty similar to a track meet. We don't just go for one game, we go for multiple games, and we kind of play throughout the day. For me, since that's kind of how I operate in my personal policy, I have days where it's like 6 a.m. to like 1 a.m. Long days.
Well, yeah, and you're working with all the different teams and juggling those responsibilities. We need to take a break, but I have one question before we do.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you have an answer to it. I'm sure a lot of our listeners are going, why would anybody sit and watch someone else play video games? That sounds like about the most boring thing I can think of. Why do people do this?
It's kind of multiple parts. Like it's almost like the same way like you're watching sports, right? It's what you find entertaining, and it's something that whether you could just kind of turn your brain off and just kind of watch it for fun, or for some people, right? For people like aspiring to be like professional esports players, it's the best way to kind of learn, right? Coaching resources and just kind of the ability to learn at a game isn't nearly as available as sports, right? Like we don't have like soccer camps for esports. Those don't really exist. So being able to kind of watch what like the best of the best do, which is and also in a more intimate way, because just cameras and whatnot are a lot closer, so you can actually like see a little bit more of what people are actually doing. In addition to some games now having replay tools, so you could go back and watch a game that already happened and look at it from a specific perspective, not just from a overhead, kind of field down view.
Imagine if one of your favorite football players had a GoPro on their helmet, and you could watch from their perspective what they're doing.
Yeah, you could be in the eyes of Jared Goff and see what he's doing, and also like try to understand what he's thinking and everything. Like we could do that with esports now. So it's really valuable for people looking to be aspiring professionals to kind of learn.
Yeah. From my perspective, at least, when I watch a basketball game or a football game or something, it's like, I can't do that. They're competing at a different level. When I watch an esports, if I watch an Overwatch game, I'm like, I could do that.
Yeah.
I see what they're doing. I could do that. I could pull that off. It's a fun component for people who are interested in that kind of thing. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit about Northwood University specifically. You're gearing up for another school year and another year of esports. We're talking with Aiden Frosch from Northwood University's esports program. We'll be back after this.
Beautiful new floor.
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. Jonathan Dent filling in today. I'm joined by Aiden Frosch. He's the Assistant Director of Esports at Northwood University. Aiden, last time we talked, you were talking about getting recruitment going because the season had kind of come to a close. Seasons? Is it one season? Is it multiple seasons?
It's technically, I mean, we don't have like we're not like a fall or spring sport, but like, I mean, we do have 2 seasons, right? We have our fall season and our spring season. So,
well, it was kind of coming to an end, and you're like, okay, my attention is now turning towards recruitment.
Yeah.
We need to build up the team a little bit. Or teams.
Yeah.
And we need to get people into different positions. How did that go?
Honestly, really successful. To kind of start off, just so people understand like the scope and like what we're working with, right? When we're talking about esports, right? We're not like football. We're not like a football team where you're only looking for football. We're more like an athletics program. So we got to think about filling. We got to fill football rosters, soccer rosters, basketball rosters, baseball rosters, etc. So with that, myself and the other directors, we have 3 other directors at Northwood. There's 4 of us. We each kind of have specialized kind of roles and talents based by just our history with esports in the games. And honestly, this recruitment season was pretty good. Our biggest shining stars that I'm the most excited about to see is we got 2 Brazilian Rocket League professionals. These are 2 people that have qualified on their own time in professional esports, the Rocket League World Cup or Rocket League like World Championship multiple times, and now they're like, Brazil, the Brazilian region for Rocket League is just kind of hitting a lull, right? It's slowly becoming, if you're not within the top 2 teams because of how they reformatted their competitive structure, if you're not first or second, you don't get anything. You don't get money. You don't go to any events. And they're like, well, that's really hard because in Rocket League, you can only have 3 people to a team.
Yeah.
So out of this whole region of people, only 6 players actually get money and get paid or anything. They go, all right, we're going to take our talents, we're going to get an education, and we're going to come up to the U.S. where A, North America will be a lot more valuable since there's a lot more resources, but also B, we get to get an education.
Yeah.
So we have 2 Brazilian Rocket League superstars coming in. They actually got here yesterday.
That's exciting.
So they've been getting pretty acclimated already to Michigan. One of the first things they said was, I can't believe this weather.
I want to really quick interject and say Rocket League, it's a video game where it's basically 3v3 soccer with cars instead of people.
Yeah.
For anybody not familiar, which I'm sure there are a lot of people out there. Now, when you get these people, the international players that are professionals, what are they going into educationally at Northwood?
Northwood, right, specializes in primarily like business degrees. We also have like computer science. What's actually pretty common on the topic of computer science is just because of the given interest of esports people and technology, our computer science, our cybersecurity management degrees are actually like the most common.
Yeah.
Probably after that, it's just kind of the business management degrees and then either marketing or accounting. We actually have a lot of like accounting majors in the program.
And do you get accounting? That's not what I would have expected.
Yeah, I know, right?
That makes it, there's a connection there, I suppose. Are there scholarships? Are there esports scholarships at Northwood?
Oh, yes. We offer a variety of scholarships for players on our varsity rosters. We actually offer full rides.
Wow.
So, yeah, our Brazilians, they're coming here for little to nothing.
And that's the other thing. You mentioned you're more of an athletics program than you are a team. So you could say, well, our basketball team gets full rides. No, you've got varsity Rocket League, you've got varsity Overwatch, you've got varsity this, that, and the other thing.
Yeah, that's also a great segue, right? We've been working over this past couple of years, right? We were kind of known for winning a lot of stuff, and what we're changing, because our model on winning and just being successful, right? Even at our worst, we're maybe top 4.
Yeah.
Right? We never really go lower than 5th in anything we compete in at this point. So
that's awesome. How many teams are playing in these competitions generally?
If for scale wise, hundreds of schools.
Yeah.
Right. So getting consistently 5th is 5th at a minimum. Our goal is to our expectation now is to at least podium.
Yeah. I just think people need to know that scale when we're talking about Northwood University in this way.
Yeah, hundreds of schools, and we're consistently getting top 3.
But you're changing kind of your approach on winning here.
Right. We're pretty sustainable in that regard. We're able to constantly, just from the Northwood name alone, top people hear about us and they go, hey, is there a spot? I want to play on varsity, right? So what we're working to now is we're now trying to actually build out what we're calling our academy system, but it's basically our JV system, right? We're getting in people that are looking to be aspiring professionals, keyword on aspiring, right? Mm-hmm. People that are a lot less experienced and want to learn and grow. And we're now putting them in a designated environment to focus on competition and obviously school. And one other unique thing that we're offering that other schools aren't, that's actually been pretty successful, is we've also started a kind of a coaching program that we're calling Play It Forward, where some of our varsity coaches, we're actually putting them or varsity players, we're putting them to work and having them coach our JV players. So now kind of for some of these teams, right, where we have actual professional esports players.
Yeah.
So our Overwatch team, our entire Overwatch roster are pro players. And now you get to have a professional player as your coach. One-on-one, almost whenever you want to, because you're going to be living in the same space or interacting in the same space.
Yeah.
So we've already had, in about the year and a half we've been running it, we've actually had it go pretty well. We've had two pretty big success stories so far. We had one of our Academy Overwatch players, Brayden. He came in, just kind of, really green, really new to the game. And he's at a point now where he is actually the team's designated, like, for Overwatch, you have 5 players. He's the team's designated 6-man.
Wow.
And he came in originally as just kind of like the starting player for the JV team. And now he's like, hey, like, you're good enough to be our 6-man. And he's actually played in a couple, like, had to actually play in a couple championships for us and help us at least kind of close stuff out. So
what is he role specific?
Yes, he's our tank player. So for Overwatch, you have 1 tank player, 2 damage players, and 2 support players. So it's literally like when you're putting him in, it's a commitment. It's one guy, right? We're swapping out. We'll just say like we're swapping out our quarterback.
Yeah.
Right. Like that's it. And for him to be able to like kind of, we use him as a closer where it's like, hey, we're up 1 or we're up a couple. Do you want to like close the game out for us? We'll have him close, and he's closed out, championship series for us.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And coming up just through your program.
Just through a program.
It's not a pro that showed up. That's
in a span of a year. We also had a Smash player as well. He started off as kind of just a unknown Smash player. In the competitive Smash Bros. Community, there is kind of terms based by like your average like tournament placements. So you have what's called like a 2-2er, which means you win 2 games and you lose 2, and it's they operate off a double elim style bracket. So like 2-2 is about like you're kind of like an above average player. You're better than kind of the average Joe that comes in for fun.
Yeah.
But like you're not doing anything. And about the year he's been working with our like year and a half he's been working with our Smash team. He is now, I think like number like 11 or 12 in the Michigan PR.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like he's not top 10 yet, but he's always mentioned on like honorable mentions of like you're just under the cut.
While we're on that subject, I need to give a shout out to my friend Ryan, who is number 1 in the Michigan power rankings for Smash Melee. So anyway, that just came out. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I want to talk about this event that's coming up at Dow Diamond next month, the Great Lakes Gaming Convention that Northwood's a big part of. We're talking with Aiden Frosch with the esports program at Northwood University. We'll be back after this.
Thinking Kia? Think Daylin Kia.
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show, presented by Westside Decorating Center. Visit them at 5789 State Street in Saginaw, or go to westsidedecoratingcenter.com. Jonathan Dent filling in for Art here today. I'm talking with Aiden Frosch. He's the Assistant Esports Director at Northwood University. We spent a little time talking about the programs there at Northwood, and especially your Play It Forward, where aspiring professional players get direct contact with current pros as kind of a coaching role. Let's talk a little bit now about the Great Lakes Gaming Convention. It's going to run September 26th to the 27th at Dow Diamond. It's a big esports day at Dow Diamond.
It's kind of just like a big like gaming or like geek kind of event.
And it's not just esports either. There's some tabletop stuff there too.
We have so in addition to just kind of esports, we have both a collegiate and high school Rocket League competition. Those are kind of going to be like the marquee kind of events where like everything's kind of being built around that as like the main focus.
I've got a question about that.
Yeah.
Are there organized high school level teams in the area, or are you just kind of putting that together from players?
Oh no, there is. Like in Michigan, actually has one of the better like high school esports systems.
Really?
It's so organized, in fact, that there's 2.
Wow.
There's two different leagues that some people double dip in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That's
we
exciting.
have what is it? The names are funny, but we have MySEF, which is the Michigan High School Esports Federation. And then we have MyCell, which is like the Michigan High School Esports League.
Okay. So anyway,
the
high school level. That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Michigan's pretty involved in terms of high school stuff. So yeah, there's been a handful of high schools that we've like reached out to and trying to gauge interest with. But yeah, the marquee events are high school Rocket League and high school and college Rocket League. So kind of that 3v3 soccer with cars that we were talking about before. And then after that, the other big esports event is the open anyone is able to enter Smash Brothers Ultimate event. Last year there was upwards of like almost 200 people competing.
Wow.
Yeah, first place for this gets $1,000 for the Smash Brothers tournament. Across all the little events, there's about, I think, like $13,000 in pricing. So there's some pretty good investment in spread and everything. But then even outside of that, just for kind of like, geek and education opportunities, we do have a trading card game tournament. There will be what is it? If I remember right, it's $500 prize pool tournament for Magic the Gathering and Pokemon. And then for Riftbound, which is a game that is very close to my heart at the moment, a win-a-box where you just kind of win product for winning, and it's about like $200-ish of product right now. So it's pretty good if you win.
That's fun.
Yeah.
So you said you did this last year. This is the second annual one, right?
Yes, this is the second one. The first year we were still kind of figuring it out, and Northwood really wasn't as involved as it is now. Last year it was just kind of like they kind of used a couple of our students, and because of just the proximity to the event, we kind of helped out with some things when needed.
Yeah.
But this year it's full on Northwood is involved, right? We've been working with the Loons now since about like probably April, March last year, and we've been steadily working on this throughout the summer. A lot of our students as well are also kind of like on like almost, team lead positions for this, right? One person that I love to shout out for the Northwood program, she is our social media manager and content lead, Lexi Brown. She's actually the person spearheading the events marketing for this. Yeah. She's been doing so much, working her butt off, and I really hope, this event goes really well, because this is just a good pinnacle. I mean, I myself, especially, just with my background, I've also been helping out with the marketing a lot, but we have other players helping with broadcasts, even just like fan experience stuff of like what's going on. It's all being Northwood involved and Northwood ran.
And I think that's one thing that this is a great opportunity, a great partnership between the two, and a cool thing for geeks and nerds in the region. But Northwood's esports program is more than just how to play video games really good.
Yeah.
You've got those tracks for broadcasting. You've got those tracks for like sports management kind of things. And this is a great opportunity to exercise that with those students.
Yeah. Kind of like how in like traditional sports, you have a whole variety of careers, right? You have the announcers, you have people doing marketing, you have, like sports managers, right? Those same concepts all apply to esports as well. And this is kind of a great event to kind of almost merge the two, right? Because kind of experience in one is almost experience in both.
Yeah.
And a lot of like the equipment and stuff is the same. So we're giving our kids very practical experience on how to do this. Another big thing that's kind of similar is like tournament organization, and kind of we need referees, right?
Oh, yeah.
In a way. They're not exactly referees, but like we need somebody kind of on site as kind of like the, this team and this team are playing here at this time kind of stuff, right?
Keep the rules in order.
Yeah, the moderators, right? Admins, right? We have Northwood students, even a lot of incoming freshmen, that just want to come out and basically be referees for the event, just to get
fun.
Boots on the ground, just kind of experience in something so large and grand.
Yeah. It is a ticketed event. Adult tickets are $10. That's not terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Just come out for a day or two. Youth tickets 5 to 12 are $5, and kids 4 and under are free. But yeah, that's a fun opportunity for nerds like me. And frankly, I'll probably head out there at least a little bit and check it out. We're going to take one more break, close things out with Aiden Frosch after this. He's the Assistant Esports Director at Northwood. We'll be back after these notes.
My name is Sophia.
Welcome back to the Art Lewis Show. Jonathan Dent hosting today, talking with Aiden Frosch, the Assistant Director for Esports at Northwood University. Aiden, we were talking a little bit about the Great Lakes Gaming Convention in that last segment, and earlier in the program you had said there's no soccer camps for esports. There's not a lot of accessible programming out there for people that want to get into this. It's growing. I know it's growing. We've talked with some local organizations who are starting to put things together, especially like at the middle school to high school level, and that's exciting to see for someone who's as into it as I am anyway.
Yeah.
This event, this Great Lakes Gaming Convention, seems like it could go in a interesting direction in that community engagement. aspect? Is it just something for spectators to come and look around and talk, or are there ways for people to get involved and explore a little bit more?
Yeah, kind of right now we're in a very, like, this is the second year, so we're still trying to figure out and like put down a true label on what we want this to be.
Yeah.
But kind of right now, this is just a great, like, almost just learning opportunity for the community, right? For esports, specifically in Michigan, kind of everything is like localized in the Detroit area, right? If you're not doing anything down there, there's really nothing else, right? Sometimes we maybe get something in Grand Rapids, but other than that, like, it's strictly, down in Detroit. So, right, with just the natural marriage of, hey, Midland has this really great, esports team located here, and the Loons and just kind of the people involved are kind of interested in esports, and they've recognized that. It's just kind of a natural marriage of, let's get this event going. Let's, try to bring, like, another destination and reason why for people should, visit the Tri-City area, and also kind of teach the community about, like, what this great thing that is going on in Midland is actually, like, about and going on.
Yeah. Speaking of this great thing going on in Midland, you're ramping up for another year. Fall season is starting. Fall semester is starting, all of that. Give me the highlights of what we're looking forward to with the different esports teams from Northwood this year.
Yeah, we're still figuring out a rough schedule. The one fun thing about esports and just as we were talking about before, just kind of how everything's kind of split up in, like, factions and groups.
Yeah.
We don't really have a consistent schedule, but what I can tell you is from Thursday, September 10th to about that Monday, September 14th, myself, Coach Jacob, who's the head esports director at Northwood, and our Smash Brothers Ultimate team, we will be traveling to Sandusky, Ohio to actually go compete in Riptide, which is a very large-scale Smash Brothers event. There's upwards of, like, I think, like 1,000 people or so that go play in it. It's across a handful of different games, but it's all, it's Smash Brothers Ultimate, Smash Brothers Melee, as well as Collegiate Smash Brothers. We're going to be at the Kalahari.
Wow.
For that. But that's kind of like our biggest upcoming event. After that, we do have the Great Lakes Gaming Convention, or GLGC, September 26th and 27th. Besides that, our regular season, quote unquote, does start around like mid-September. So roughly around that time, I'll be getting back from Sandusky. We're going to start really ramping up or starting our season, as well as recently, upcoming in about like a week or so, in August, we do have our qualifiers for the Collegiate Rocket League, otherwise known as CRL. The people who make Rocket League run this league, and we have to qualify to kind of make it into their highest division.
Okay.
Right? This is kind of like if you want to put it in like soccer terms, like the Premier League of Collegiate. We got to qualify for the Premier League. So we have our qualifiers, I think, on like the 23rd.
How has Northwood done in the past with these?
Oh, we've always qualified.
Yeah,
We've
I
always
figured
qualified.
that was probably the answer there. For a lot of these players, are they on a weekly game schedule? Is it just these big tournaments and events that you're getting ready for?
That's a really good question, because this is something that I actually talk to a lot of people whenever they're new to like the collegiate esports space. Esports as a whole, we do kind of have like a weekly competition schedule, but on the collegiate side, it's a lot more, right? For us, because we have a variety of leagues that a given game can compete in, there are some times where some teams will have maybe 2 to 3 game days a week.
Okay.
So
in different leagues.
In different leagues.
Same teams.
Same team.
Same game. Different. That's interesting.
Yeah. It's a weird thing to like wrap your head around, but yeah, same game, same people, but different like competitions, right?
Yeah.
So like every Monday we could be playing in one thing, and then every Wednesday something else, and it's a rather consistent, schedule on that basis, right? And I mean, it's rather consistent on that point. People kind of get used to it, but also between that, we have to balance, competition, school, and then for any of our varsity players who have professional obligations, they also got to balance those as well.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of juggling, and the people who manage our rosters, because I used to manage a couple of our rosters too, like a lot more like intimately than I do now. It's a lot when you're trying to balance professional schedules, and when even though we all play in the same college team, they all don't play on the same pro teams.
Yeah.
So then it's okay, what's your pro schedules like?
So you might have one player out one day, and the next have a different player out.
A lot of sometimes we got to use a lot of substitutes. I mean, and then also, right, with the travel events we have, those are kind of big one-offs of, okay, guys, right?
Yeah.
In we'll just use the Sandusky event, right? Okay, guys, we're going to be gone from the 10th to the 14th. Plan around that.
Yeah. Real quick, we don't have a whole lot of time left. Where can people watch and follow along?
Yeah, you could follow us on our social media. On our Instagram and TikTok, we are Northwood Esports. On X, we are Northwood Esport. We were too long to fit in the S. And then our Twitch, which is where we'll be broadcasting a lot of our regular season games and even playoff matches as we get there towards the end of the semester. You can find us at twitch.tv/Northwood Esports.
Aiden, thank you very much.
Attention commercial landscapers and